I finally started reading An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. So far, I've read the first chapter. It's been a little suspenseful. Like, it was like a nice hook chapter just set up because I read it as a sample before I even bought the book. And I was like, okay, I'm about to book just off of that first chapter because you got to the end, it had like a little setup of some like real dramatic. And I was just like, I see you, Sabaa Tahir. You did that. You did that. You had me hooked. So far, you're starting good, Sabaa. You're starting good, Sabaa Tahir. I'm enjoying this. I'm here for it, Mr. Here. Action. I have arrived at page 61 in this book. It's engaging, action-packed so far. I'm getting acclimated to the characters to an extent. Leia and Elias, I am getting into their characters. Not fully quite there yet. I am ready to see what unfolds with those characters. I'm kind of not enjoying the writing a little bit. Reading it, it's been pretty smooth reading, but there are times when just the descriptions are just kind of like, what are we trying to say here? It's describing it so you can get a sense of what it looks like, but also kind of get a feeling from it. For instance, it had one line that stood out for me when she said, like, it had these fingers crawling up my back. And it was supposed to be a way of saying, like, you know, I got chills up my spine. And I didn't like it. I felt like, okay, you could have just said chills up my spine, but fine. For me personally, I'm not that big on poetry. I'm not too much of a poetry girl. But it's like if I'm trying to get the story here and you trying to tell me that like a building is looking like a sleeping lion. I'm just seeing a sleeping lion that is as big as a building. And I'm not really getting what, I don't know, I'm kind of getting it, but kind of not. It's losing me a little bit, but you know, I'm gonna deal with it. I am excited to see what Elias is gonna do, where he's gonna end up, what's the tea. I wanna see what's the tea with Leia and this guy, the guy Keenan, the lead muscular guy in the rebellion group. Like, he's giving like sex appeal, hot sauce, tease, honey. So I'm thinking like this is gonna be one side of the love triangle because I think Elias, I'm guessing, is the next angle in the triangle. Let's see how this works out for Leia. But this Keenan dude, he's sounding like a snack girl. You better snatch that up real quick. Like how she described him, I was like, girl. She was not ashamed to say, your boy's got muscles, and he's got this red hair, and it's like curly. And I enjoy a curly haired white man. I really do. Like, because I don't always really see it for like white men like that, really. But like when it comes to a curly haired white man, something about a curly haired white man, I don't know if it's because the fact that his hair is a little curlier, it's a little closer to like black, like, you know, black people. But that's not the reason. It's just still a curly haired white man. He draws my eye. He can draw my attention. Not all of them, but a considerable amount of curly haired white men are interesting. So this Keenan dude is sounding real cute with his red hair and his like red curly hair. Like, it's cute or whatever. Like, I'm here for it. So I'm excited to get to know more about him. Get to know more about him for Leia, and let's see how all of this is working out. I hope my good girlie makes the right decision because Keenan is sounding like the decision, but I don't know. I'm going on like looks. I need to get to know him better because he's a little too rough and gruff and a little mean, and he don't need to be all that. But you see, we might have to like break down those walls and see what Homeboy is all about. You know what I'm saying? I'm now 266 pages in. Some quick notes that I want to drop. The one thing that I thought was interesting is how familiar the slavery in this book is to other books that I've read about slavery, like about American like chattel slavery. You know, let me use the big terms, chattel slavery. It's very similar kind of in that way, but not the same. But it's just like there's the brutality and the torture of it and just having power over somebody else in that torturous way. That was very reminiscent to me of like when I read Kindred, The Underground Railroad, The Prophets. All three of those books like had a lot of torture of black people who are slaves. Reading it, although it's not black people, it's like just reading somebody who's like in that position of slavery, just being tortured. It was just like, girl, is it PTSD? Am I feeling PTSD from the books I read? But it wasn't too intense. Like I handled it. It was just like there's a familiarity in how this is written to how it is written in other fiction that has American slave narratives. Beyond that, I'm enjoying how smooth and easy a ride it is to read the book. The chapters aren't too long. The writing isn't too prosy. It still has this moments where it's like she'll describe a building as a bear, like it's like a sleeping bear, and I'm just like, I don't understand what that means. I don't get it. What does that mean? All I'm seeing is a bear the size of a building. And I don't know how people are getting into the building or to the bear. I don't know. I don't get it. It was just like, girl, I don't know. I don't like it. The romantic sides of this story are kind of like building up, creeping in there. They've had their little moments where they were like sprinkled in, kind of like setting it up and building it up. The love triangle aspects are kind of like coming in. I'm not hating them or loving them. I'm just kind of neutral to them. It's whatever. It could live, it could die. I'm not fully invested in the love triangle, but I do want to see how it plays out. I honestly don't have any like favorite characters or standout characters. I do love the way how the love interests are described in this book. And I know we're supposed to be a lot more body positive and body diverse and like let's like celebrate other body types instead of just like slim muscular types, but bitch, I love a muscular buff type of dude, you know what I'm saying? That's just your girl. She likes what she likes. I'm not like, again, other varying body types, but you know, we also live in a society where we do kind of glorify and we promote a particular body type as most desirable. So there is that indoctrination. So I'm not fully unwrapped from that indoctrination because I enjoy it so much, but also in understanding that I have this indoctrination, I also open up my mind to other body types. But at the end of the day, I still like Leia's options here. They're giving, how is she gonna pick? Like I don't understand how she's gonna pick. How you gonna make a decision? Like at least in the Hunger Games, I was already like, bitch, it's not gonna be Gale. Gale is like your brother. I don't give a fuck. It's Peeta. Peeta, period. Peeta is like husband material. Period. If you were to hook up with Gale and you didn't see him as a brother, it was just like one night stand, like hook up. Like it's not serious. We're not taking this seriously. I can't say the same thing about Bella and Edward. I was here more for Bella with Jacob, but then again, it was like Bella could go off with Jacob because bitch, I want Jacob. Like Jacob could come. You could give Jacob to me, bitch. What's up? But that's besides the point. So far, I don't know. I'm like, what, halfway through the book? So at this point, I can't really tell who she's gonna pick. Like, she's had more exposure to one, and she's getting a little bit more exposure to another at this point in the book. Maybe I am getting a little bit more invested in the love triangle, in the relationships. I am invested in the characters' plots, but I'm not invested in them as characters, as people. I'm just gonna need to get a little bit more from them as I read them. It's like a movie that you just kind of like, I'm here for the ride, but I'm not necessarily like invested in the characters like a lot. Like I don't have a fave. I'm just around being entertained. I've finished An Ember in the Ashes, and can we talk? I should have read this in a week. It kind of took me a little too long to read this, and not because the book isn't good. It's that I did not put enough energy and time into reading as I should have. I enjoyed how it ended. It was like a nice little action-packed ending. I'm looking forward to seeing how much more is gonna come in the subsequent books. I have a feeling there's gonna be two different kind of story genres. I have a feeling that A Torch Against the Night is gonna be a fugitive story, like, you know, trying to clear your name type of thing, and like a rescue mission heist kind of story. There's gonna be, I don't know, rebellion stuff, maybe more spy stuff coming. What's gonna happen with Leia? What's gonna happen with Elias? What's gonna happen with Izzy and Cook and Helene? I'm looking forward to seeing who Leia picks, because she managed to have her own fantasy suite moments where it really wasn't no fantasy suites, but it was giving very much bachelorette, where she got to spend the night with Elias and she got to spend the night with red-haired boy Keenan. I doubt in the fantasy suites everybody's always smushing, but she did not smush neither one, but she got to spend the night with them. She was given a more romantic night with Elias, and I was just kind of like, I guess whatever, maybe, or whatever. But I'm still rooting for Keenan though. Keenan had his moment, she spent the night with him, but she woke up like mad at him. Is she gonna get to feel up on Keenan's biceps and on those abs? Like, girl, I think she did though, but still, I don't really feel like she did. She got to really feel up on Elias's. Get your life on Elias, girl. You know, one night only at least with Elias, one time for the one time. But it's giving Keenan is gonna be endgame, and that's forever. Get your little rough against the wall, ripped in panties off type shit. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I know when I read A Torch Against the Night, I'm gonna read that a lot faster than I read this. I could have flew through this in a weekend. It felt like a movie or a 6-episode series that you could watch on Netflix. Just been through that in a day and you're done. I'm just gonna buckle down on my reading and get into my focus and flow and read. Thank you for spending your time with me. I am out this bitch like Fleek. Shout out to Peaches. Thank you, girl.